Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Mynar. This weekly no-fluff mindset show arms you with the practical tools you need to get unstuck so you can get exactly what you want out of life. Remember, when you change your mind, your life will follow. Let's get into today's episode. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Unstuck Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. I know I say that every single episode, and I truly do mean it every single episode, but we are in the holiday season. If you're listening to this when it airs, it's Black Friday. We just finished up Thanksgiving in the US, and we officially kicked off the holidays. How did this happen? I don't know. This has just been a total whirlwind when we really think back about this year, but here we are. And I have a special seasonal episode for you in a way, although really it isn't at all. But I will say that the holiday season brought this to a place where I was ready to talk about it, I guess. And one situation in particular for me last week sparked actually two episodes, this week and next week's episode of Unstuck, all just from one tiny little situation in my life. And I thought, hey, this is really a good time to talk about this, to share what's on my mind this holiday season, what's on my heart, I guess even more so this holiday season, in case it resonates with you too. We're going to talk a little bit about staying conscious this holiday season, staying mindful, staying aware. We'll get into kind of how all of those are really essentially the same thing, and what that means in relationship to ourselves, to our bodies, to our community, to the world, to our environment, just at all of it. And you may be wondering, what does this have to do with getting unstuck? And it means everything. You getting unstuck equals you staying conscious, staying aware, especially in these times of the year where it gets a little challenging to continue to be as aware as maybe we are in other times of the year when there isn't as much going on, especially this year when things might look really different in our worlds. And, you know, a lot of stress happens around this time of year. And does that actually really need to happen? So I really like to talk about this kind of thing as the season moves on. But I think this year also brings out a whole new level of consciousness that I hope we are all now very aware of if we haven't been already in other past holiday seasons, or maybe not as much as is needed this year in particular. And that's really important also to getting unstuck, because part of that in ourselves is also in helping others get unstuck and making that a very real, big part of our journey. Quickly, before we get into that, I just want to welcome all of the wonderful people who took my offer, the best offer I've ever had on the Unstuck project over the past few weeks, and are now officially on their 8-week Unstuck journey. Welcome to all of you. Happy to have you. I can't wait for what's in store for you over the next 8 weeks and beyond, because really all it's doing is giving you the tools for life. So that happened, and so excited for that. I also have chosen the date, the official opening date of the next round of Unstuck Entrepreneur. We've just officially wrapped up the first founding member group. The results are in. The feedback is in. It's been incredible all around. Honestly, so far beyond my expectations. I just can't even describe it. It's been a phenomenal experience, both for me and for the 22 ladies in the group, and they're lifetime members now. They're now ready to welcome in new people to the group, and that will be happening in January, officially opening the doors January 4th. So if you would like to be in on the next round of Unstuck Entrepreneur, this is great for those of you who are wellness entrepreneurs just starting your business, wellness entrepreneurs who might want to start a business, or wellness entrepreneurs who are ready to grow and expand their business. We will do all of that together in the Unstuck Entrepreneur. Once you're in there, you're always in there. So it's basically just this like forever mentorship, which is really nice and really needed when you have your own business, because once you overcome one thing, then you move on to the next thing that also needs a little potentially guidance or brainstorming with your peers, something like that. So we're doing that January 4th. Mark your calendars if you are a wellness entrepreneur who's ready for some mentorship, guidance, coaching, community, all the good stuff. It's so much fun. And so I can't even explain it. There are no words. It's just incredible. Okay. So put your name on the list, ShawnMynar.com/unstuckbiz, B-I-Z, ShawnMynar.com/unstuckbiz. Head over there now, get on the wait list. All right, let's get into having a conscious holiday season. As I mentioned, I had one little situation last week that I will share a little bit about, and that sparked 2 separate episodes, this week's and next week's, of Unstuck. And really, this is a great thing about having your own podcast, is like things just happen in your life and you're like, I kind of want to talk about that with more than myself or more than just my partner. I feel like more people need to discuss this or know about this, or let me just get this off my chest. So that's a little bit of what I'm doing. Maybe I'm venting just a tiny bit here in this episode, but I promise there's going to be a lot to talk about. My friends and I, usually there's about anywhere between 8 to 12 of us, depending on the year and who's around and available. We always do some sort of gift exchange during the holidays. Sometimes it's like a white elephant type situation. There's a Secret Santa type thing that we do, but we always do something. And it's really fun. We have dinner or brunch or something as well, and we make this big party out of it, and it's a great time. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that this year. It will be a virtual thing, but my friends still wanted to do some sort of gift exchange, and apparently there's a way that you can do it virtually and have it delivered to their door and all that stuff, so we wouldn't have to be in contact, because here in where we live, we are in this like very strict kind of lockdown situation, not complete shutdown, but pretty much we're not supposed to connect with anybody outside of our own household. So we were going to do it virtually. And so it came time to organize that thing, and I got the group text, getting all of the information, who was in, having everyone sign up for this thing where you can do it all virtually. And I just felt weird about it. Something about it felt really off to me. And I just could not get myself excited about it. I couldn't get myself to want to opt in and sign up and do it. And obviously, I love my friends. I love giving gifts to my friends. It's always super funny, and we have some really creative things. It's always been a great time. I obviously love receiving gifts. I love the holidays. I love all of it. So for me to not be excited about it was an interesting thing, and something I needed to explore a little further. And I realized that it's really just because this year has made me think so differently about a lot of things, of course, but especially this time of year. It feels a little different to me. So I then realized all this and made the suggestion to the group that instead of exchanging gifts, we could pool our money together and help, the money that we were going to spend on each other's gifts, and help a family in our area that's been affected by COVID. Or we could even take the money we were going to spend on gifts and instead donate to our Secret Santa's charity of choice, something like that. Because I'm feeling, as you can tell, I'm feeling like I want to support people who have been affected by COVID and affected by 2020 and just everything. I just feel the need to do that this year. And I'm super grateful that I am in the position where I have plenty. I don't need anything as a gift. I don't need anything. My friends are also very fortunate. Every single one of them has kept their jobs. Some of their jobs have changed, their roles have changed, but we all have been able to maintain income and we're all doing great and none of us need anything. And we are all very grateful for that. So I suggested this instead. Now it didn't take, wasn't a popular idea, and that's fine. No big deal, whatever. I'm not going to talk about that beyond that. But my partner and I still chose to opt out of this Secret Santa thing and instead are going to basically, we chose each other and we're going to put our money that we were going to spend on that gift and instead donate it to our community and the people that are in need right now in our community. So now, as I said, that little situation gave me two things to talk about. The first one today, because it's Black Friday, because it's really kicking off the start of gift giving and holiday shopping and all of that stuff. And probably a lot of you are spending your time, hopefully online, shopping today and getting some good deals and thinking about what you want to get everybody. And potentially that's causing some stress because sometimes gift giving can be stressful, let's be honest, financially and just getting it all organized and making sure you're getting the right thing. And what does this person want? What would they actually like all that stuff. It can be a lot. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to just check in with all of you and make sure that that is something that you're staying conscious about this holiday season and really every holiday season. I think we all can agree it's going to be a weird one. It probably already has been weird for a lot of us in the US, at least, where our Thanksgivings didn't look the same. For me, for instance, my family usually, there's like anywhere between 15 and 20 of us that get together for the holidays, for Thanksgiving dinner. And that didn't happen this year. It was just me and my partner. And we just had our own little Thanksgiving dinner at home. And the same thing with my sister and her family. It was just them at home. And the same thing with everyone else that we normally gather with. Everyone just stayed at their own places in their own home pods. And we had a Zoom brunch. And that's how we celebrated Thanksgiving with the family. And I really hope not, but it's possible that Christmas might look the same or similar, or there may be something different. There may be less people traveling. There may be less people at the table. We don't know at this point. And that is not fun. It's not fun to not see my family. It's not fun to hang out with everybody. It's not fun to not do all of our normal traditions. But here's the thing that's really sticking with me about that. It's like, I'm still fine. I'm more than fine. I'm doing well. I'm safe. I'm healthy. I'm loved. I'm comfortable. And every single day, I will tell you, every single day, I'm so grateful for that. Like so grateful for that. And there are many who aren't this year. There are a lot of people who never expected to be in the position that they're in this holiday season. And there's a lot of people who expected this holiday season to be better than last, that thought that 2020 was going to be the year, whatever. Like there's just so many, probably more than ever, who are not okay this holiday season, this year in general. And so for me, it just felt like the best option this year to opt out of receiving gifts and instead spread that love to those that are in need this year. And just as a side note, because I know a lot of you are probably in this same boat, I always do some sort of giving to the community, to charity, to food banks, to coat drives, all those things this time of year. I always have done that. I've done that since I was little. So this is something in addition to what I always have done, because I think that we all need to go a little extra this year, because really 2020 has just been extra. And so now it's up to us to kind of help out if we can, if we do have that extra space and ability. So that was just one kind of thought that I had, and still going to be doing some shopping for sure. And I'm not opting out of like all gifts forever and from everyone and for everyone, nothing like that. I'm just being a little bit more conscious, a little bit more mindful of where I can allocate a little differently in order to make sure I'm spreading more love, spreading more of it than just in my usual bubble. So yes, still doing a little shopping, and then that's where I start to consider other things like the small businesses that have been completely devastated or massively impacted by 2020 and are just really trying to survive and trying to make it through this so that they can go back to their bustling, great, wonderful in-store life that they have. And so then I start thinking, well, what can we do to spread out some of the wealth in this world right now so that these small businesses and these dreams of these people have a chance to succeed up against the big guys that have really just kind of taken over, especially this year in 2020, and just our wealth is so disproportionate. And so how can we help to bring that all back to life, like to give these small businesses some support? And then it takes all of us. It takes all of us as a collective to be more mindful, to be more conscious, and to keep that awareness and keep it all the time. Hopefully this sparks this new thought process you have always. But let's kick it off with the holiday season, and let's continue to think about it as we move forward. So let's get into it. Starting with a quote from Ankur Prasad: "Rise to higher consciousness because we are more than just living." Rise to higher consciousness because we are more than just living. So many different ways to interpret that quote. Because of this episode specifically, I'm going to interpret it based on the context of everything I just said. So living, if we're doing more than just living, that requires a higher level of consciousness. And to me, in this scenario of the holiday craziness, living would be something like, oh, it's Black Friday. That's when I go buy all the things on Amazon and I go out to all the big box stores and get 50% off of everything. Or this is just when I go crazy and buy a bunch of stuff I didn't need because it's Black Friday. There is this subconscious programming that does come with Black Friday and with the holiday season, that it's just what you do. Like, oh, it's Black Friday. I see a sale. This is never on sale for this much. I have to get it. And we have this very disconnectedness with our spending, with our consumerism, with the companies that we are supporting, and with our decision making on where we best could use or could spread the love that we have by way of our money. Another thing that I think living could mean, and please don't take this the wrong way, I have like so many asterisks to this, but it could also mean it's Christmas, so everyone gets a gift. My whole family gets a gift. Every friend gets a gift. I'm just the gift-giving person. And please no, I am not saying to not give or receive gifts. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not being a total Scrooge and saying Christmas should be this like not fun thing anymore. But can you be more conscious of your gift giving and make sure that it makes sense for you and feels good to you and is also the right thing for your friends and family to receive and give gifts this year? Or could they be smaller gifts so that there is more love to give to the community? Do you want to take a year off from gifts and help more people or charities or families? Or maybe there's a particular friend or cousin or relative that you can, instead of giving gifts, you can go do something fun together. And then maybe even that something fun is going shopping for a family or going to a food bank and getting food for the food bank. Maybe there's something that you can do in that regard. So I just want there to be more of a thought, more awareness around, does this make sense? Does this feel good for me? Is this the best thing in my heart to do this year? And if it is, and you want to go for all the gifts and go crazy, then do it. But I want you to just have that level of awareness and don't just use your subconscious programming because it's what you've always done, because it's Black Friday, because it's the holidays, because that's what your family does, because so-and-so would probably be mad if they didn't get a gift from you, which wouldn't actually probably happen, especially if you explain your ideas of what else you guys could do together. Just make sure it is a very thought out situation, always, every year. All right, so now I have a few different specific areas we're going to go through in our lives where we can potentially build more consciousness when it comes to the holidays. And in case you haven't noticed yet, I very much use conscious, mindful, and aware, or staying aware or becoming aware, all interchangeably. They really all mean the same thing. Okay, so just know that as we go through this. Let's start with yourself. How can you be more conscious about your needs, your desires, your plans, your body this holiday season? We all have felt this year, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's been a long year. It's been a stressful year. It's been an emotional year for many of us. And I personally feel like it's been a difficult year to stay mindful of our own needs and desires, especially for those out there with kids who have had to learn virtually or have a different school schedule or were home for the summer instead of at camps. Whatever it was, our ability to be more mindful of our needs may have gone down in 2020. And ironically, of course, as it always goes, 2020 was also the year that we needed it probably more than ever. And not only that, but I also think it was a year where a lot of our own disconnection or things we still need to work on came to the surface. It was like all of this chaos and weirdness and life just not being normal really brought up all of the things that we still potentially have to work on and to get unstuck. Potentially it is with your own lack of awareness. It's like you're now aware of your lack of awareness, which is great. And I know we all are ready for 2020 to be over. And I really want to make sure that we all are also very aware that the clock isn't going to strike midnight on January 1st, 2021, and life's going to be great again. And with that being said, it's one of these things which we do so often this time of year where we just put off doing whatever we need to do for ourselves and wait until the new year. And now it's like, well, I'm just going to get through 2020 and the craziness that it was, and then everything's going to be fine in 2021, or I'll start taking care of myself in 2021, or things will be back to normal, or I'll start really giving myself the space I need, whatever it is, because we think that magic is going to happen when the clock hits midnight, and it never does. It never is the case. And as someone who's been in the wellness space for so many years now, this is how we handle every holiday season when it comes to, for many of us, when it comes to our fitness, our diets, anything related to our health. We just like blow it off for November and December, the holiday season, knowing that we're going to start fresh in January. This was something that the gym, I worked at a big box gym for a long time as a manager, we could just count on that. We could count on January 1st, January 2nd, just being the biggest day of the year for us in sales, in members coming in, personal training sessions being purchased. And then it died down every single year by mid-February. It was like we used that knowledge that that is what everybody thought every year, and that they had spent all of the holiday season pushing it off, not caring, not being conscious, and not making those decisions for themselves. And this year just brings it about even more, because now we're hoping that 2021 means we'll start feeling different, or we'll start having less stress, or we'll start being more aware, and we'll start doing our self-care and taking the time we need and start healing from 2020. But we have to do that now. You have to start taking care of yourself now, because 2021 isn't going to be magical when the clock strikes midnight. Now, I still have very high hopes for 2021. I hope you do too. I honestly still think it's going to be a magical year, but it's not going to happen the second the clock turns. So let's start taking care of ourselves now, which means if we're thinking in terms of being more mindful, being more conscious with ourselves, it's asking yourself the question, what do you need? What do you need? If you don't have someone in your life who's asking you that, which you may or may not, I think both are totally normal. But if you don't have someone, well, first of all, if you do have someone, what are you saying? Are you actually answering that question honestly? Or are you still pretending to be fine, pretending you don't need space, pretending you don't need a staycation, pretending you don't want to just like cuddle up and cry with your partner, whatever it is? Are you or are you not expressing what you need? And are you or are you not even aware of what you need? Have you really actually thought about it, especially if you don't have someone who's asking that question to you? Have you asked that question to yourself, and have you answered honestly? Think about it. Do you need time to yourself? Do you need a hug? Do you just want a nice, quiet dinner with yourself or with a friend or with your partner? Do you just need someone to listen? Do you need a good cry? What do you need? And then from there, do it. Commit to doing it. Do what you need. Now, the next thing that comes along with being a little more conscious this season with ourselves is being mindful of our energy, of course, by way of our thoughts and emotions. And not only that, but the stress level that comes from those thoughts and emotions, again, many of which are subconscious programming around the holiday season. Like at this point, because we've had so many seasons, holiday seasons that were stressful and chaotic and overwhelming, we just think that's what it's going to be. And you are programmed to get into that headspace, to start having those thoughts and to start having those emotions without you even trying. They're just going to happen. So if we can build consciousness into this holiday season, we can actually make that decision of, do I really want to feel this way this holiday season? Do I actually need to have these thoughts still that make me stressed out? And do I or can I build in to this holiday season things that feel good and right to me? Things that spread my love far and wide. Things that make my heart explode. Can I do that? Can I help others in a different way, in a way I never have before? Can I think about that whole process differently? Can I think about gifts differently? Can I think about shopping differently? Can I think about decorating differently? We're going to get into all of this, so don't worry. But what happens when we build consciousness into every moment of our lives, but especially in these moments that tend to have a lot of subconscious programming, then we open up our doors to have a completely different experience. And the last thing we're going to just quickly chat about in terms of building consciousness with yourself this holiday season, it also includes your physical body and what you need to do to feel your best physically as well. So we've already worked on feeling better mentally and emotionally. How can we feel our best physically as well? Again, going with the subconscious programming that if we are not aware of will lead us to do things that we actually don't want to do and don't enjoy and don't even like, and it doesn't make us feel good. And this is a conversation I have had on podcast episodes. You can go back to all my different podcasts and listen to my various talks about the holiday season and dieting and letting your programming decide what you do around the holidays, what you expect to do January 1st, what kind of decisions you make about your food, your exercise, your movement, your stress reduction, your self-care, all of those things. That's subconscious programming. And there's a lot of it that goes on during the holiday season because, it's like I have to have my grandma's cookies because I have to. It's just what we do. I have to have it. But do you actually want it? If you want them, if they're your favorite thing on this planet, if it brings you so much joy, if it reminds you of your childhood and brings back all these good memories, then that cookie is very important to everything about the holiday season. It's very important to your mental and emotional energy, like that energy you're putting out because of that cookie and what it reminds you of and how good it is there. But if you're just having that cookie that actually you don't really like that much, it's not that good, and you're just kind of doing it because that's what you've always done and your subconscious is now telling you that that's what you do, but you don't like it, doesn't make you feel good, then maybe that's not the best choice. So if we can just have this slightly heightened level of awareness and stay in tune with our needs and desires and what feels best for us physically too, then the holiday season and come 2021 can feel a whole lot better. You don't have to start January of the new year feeling like crap and trying to back out of that, trying to say that's the year that you're going to hit the gym, that's the year that you're going to stop eating sugar or whatever crazy things you're saying that don't ever actually stick. Building awareness around it all, starting now, will guide you every step of the way into what's best for you. Please don't feel bad about giving yourself extra attention, giving yourself time away. Please take care of yourself now and always. We absolutely must take care of ourselves in order to take care of others the way they need to be taken care of. We have to put on our own oxygen mask first. So stay mindful, stay present with yourself. You deserve to feel good this holiday season, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. You deserve to feel good. So make that a priority. Let's move on. Now, how can we stay conscious this holiday season within our community? I think we all know this one, and I'm sure you all are probably already doing something to support your local communities this time of year and maybe throughout 2020. So really just let this be a reminder. Your local community needs your support. Those small businesses, those local restaurants, they are hanging on by a thread to survive right now. And not only that, charities and organizations are really in need of help and support. underserved communities like the BIPOC and LGBTQIA communities in your area are being hit the hardest because of COVID and need extra support. There are families that are in desperate need as well in all of our communities, everywhere, all over. So, in any way that you have the means, whether it's time, support, money, whatever you can do. And like I mentioned at the beginning, for me, it was opting out of a gift so that I could support extra this holiday season. If that's something that you want to do as well, if you know of an organization, a charity, a mutual aid, a food bank, whatever feels right for you, go there locally and support in any way you can. If you don't know, Google is your friend. There are many different things. Also, you can search on Facebook. Many of the charities and organizations I support locally have Facebook groups, and that makes it really easy to stay connected and know what they're in need of, what's going on, where the resources are being used right now, and it makes it you feel very much connected to that organization and what they're doing. In terms of supporting local businesses, even though I think many of us, if you're in an area like where I am, we're not supposed to shop even in stores. There's a very limited amount of people allowed in. The good thing about that is most of our shops here have gone into this situation where you can pick up your order. So you can even shop online, and then they do kind of like curbside pickup of your order, which is nice. Same thing with our restaurants do that. Also, delivery of your takeout order would work as well. Can you buy gift cards to be used later? Or maybe that's a gift option for you, is buying a gift card to a local store that then your recipient can use at a different time or get something that they would really love. What can you do to support your community? Now we're going to talk about building consciousness around our dollar and really our consumerism. If you aren't already aware of conscious consumerism, this is really something that's been on my radar for probably the last, 5, 6, 7 years, something around that. Conscious consumerism is the idea that you vote with your dollar, and that vote is for the changes that you want to see socially, economically, environmentally, and even within your own communities. So this is something for us to consider all year long, but when it comes to this time of year, it's when consumerism is at its all-time high. We're all shopping more, spending more, and all businesses count on that. They bank on that. So can you build in more awareness of how you're spending your money, or where you're spending your money, or really how you are using your votes, and what is that vote going towards? Questions to consider. Again, just takes one little click more of consciousness, one extra little thought process before you hit the buy button. Who am I purchasing from? What are their values? What do they stand for? Are they environmentally responsible? Are they committed to social equality? Who owns them? Is it someone in an underserved or underrepresented population, like BIPOC owned, LGBTQIA owned, female owned? Do they give back to the community? Do they pay and support their employees appropriately? Now, for me, this has actually been a really fun project, honestly, like I said, for a few years now, but even more so in 2020, it really became this fun thing for me to research and find new brands that I'm excited to, quote unquote, vote for with my dollar. And there are I mean, just so many wonderful, amazing businesses out there that are doing the right thing for equality and for our environment. And they just do such amazing things for their employees. They treat their employees so, so well, and they give back to their community. I mean, I'm just blown away by the amount of amazing businesses out there that need our support now and beyond to, again, help spread the wealth and keep the dreams alive. And if you are on my email list, you've got a list this week of some amazing brands that I gave you my little gift guide for the holiday season. And this time I only included these types of brands just to kick off this exploration for you too. It's a really fun thing. It actually, speaking energetically, it feels different. It feels different to push the buy button on these websites versus pushing the buy button on Amazon. And I will say, I'm just going to say, Amazon is sometimes necessary to go through in order to get to one of these businesses. A lot of these businesses do depend on these big, huge, massive businesses to like Amazon or Etsy or something like that in order to get the word out there about their small businesses. So I don't want to completely shut down Amazon or anything like that and say don't go there, but just be mindful, just really do your research to find out who is that money actually going to? What business am I actually supporting with this purchase? Because as we all know, so much of our wealth is going as a country, as a world, is going into Amazon. And sometimes that is great and necessary for these small businesses in order just to be seen and known. But there are brands out there that are doing amazing things. And if we can kind of diversify our wealth just a little bit and go directly to the source, oh man, just this world would be a different place. No question. All right, last thing we're going to discuss as far as consciousness today and around the holidays and forever, hopefully. As I said in the beginning, this really has nothing to do with the holidays, but it was brought up by this current situation and also this time of year that is more about giving and receiving and spending and making sure we're doing the best thing for ourselves. Last thing, our planet. As I've mentioned in a past episode not too long ago, the state of the planet and global warming is something I care so deeply about. And this year, it really took it to another level because of the wildfires that were so close to my home. And I know a lot of you, especially in the west of the United States, feel me on this, to just be breathing in smoke for months of the summer and to see the destruction that was happening in like the most beautiful places on earth is alarming and so depressing and so sad. So I had this kind of going already. I already felt this like pull to figure this out, to see what I can do, to see what everyone else can do. And then I watched the documentary A Life on Our Planet by David Attenborough. It's on Netflix. If you don't know who David Attenborough is, he is the commentator behind all the main planet documentaries. You'll know his voice in an instant if you've ever watched any of those documentaries. They're so cool. But this one was about his experience in being someone that's very connected to the earth, to the planet, to the wildlife. This is something his career has been filming and documenting our planet and nature. And he's now in his 90s. And so he has seen firsthand in one lifetime the destruction that has happened to our planet. And so he talks about that. And then he talks about what will happen in our lifetime, in our kids' lifetime to this planet if we don't start taking action now. And I can tell you it's very scary. It's very scary for us in our lifetime, but our kids are going to see things we could never imagine on this planet and going to have a really tough time if we don't start doing something now. So not to scare you or alarm you, but I do highly recommend that documentary, A Life on Our Planet. It's on Netflix. It's amazing. Go watch it. It will have you really start to think about some of these things and what can we do on this, yes, super macro level. Like, there's so much that needs to be done, but there are things that we can do right now in our own homes, and especially this time of year, which is a time of massive waste. Like the holidays, this whole season is notorious for being a very wasteful season. We waste food, we waste paper, we waste plastic, ribbons, tapes, trees, tinsel. Like, just think about the holiday season and everything that's involved in it. And again, not saying to not enjoy your tree and your tinsel and your decorations and your wrapping paper and all that stuff, but can we build a little bit more attention, awareness, and consciousness into what's involved this season and how it's impacting our planet? And can you make some simple switches to start that process, to create new habits for you and your family? This is where we can really start to create some change. Here are some things to consider. Are the things that you're considering buying wrapped in a ton of single-use plastic stuff? Like, so much of the stuff that I want to buy my nieces and nephews are just coated in plastic. Like, you can't even get into the things. They're almost impossible to get into. But is that something that you're considering? And maybe there's an option that you're also considering that isn't covered in plastic. Go with that option. What's an experience that we could do together later in 2021 when things open back up a little more, where I can also support a local business? So I can get them a gift card, some sort of coupon or something printed out to where they know that we are going to go have this experience together in the summer. And it's going to be fun and they'll be excited and they'll actually be getting a gift in the middle of the summer when they least expect it, which I always like to do. So can you give an experience over an object? Can you reuse wrapping items from previous years? You know, the wrapping bags that you all just tuck away for another time, some old ribbons and stuff that you just keep putting tape on and keep reusing. Do that over and see if you can do that for as many gifts as possible over buying new and using new wrapping paper that you will have to throw away. Also, in terms of wrapping, can you wrap? I know it's not that cute, but you can make it cute, I promise. Newspaper or brown recyclable wrapping paper that you can color or paint or stamp to look really pretty. So can you do something like that? Can you forego Christmas cards this year and do an email newsletter with all the things that have happened to your family this year instead and include some pictures and stuff like that? Can you decorate with recyclable products instead of plastic? Can you get your Christmas tree from a local tree farm? Are you composting your food scraps? And how much of that food can you source from local organic farms where you're going right there, picking it right up from the farm? So those are just a few ideas for you to consider. There's so many other considerations that can happen for any of this stuff, for you, for your community, for others, for your family, and for the planet. so many different things that you can do. All I want you to do is to build in some awareness, be a little more conscious this holiday season as to what feels right for you, what feels best for you, what lifts your vibration instead of bringing it down. What do you have to offer the community, the planet, yourself? What do you need and what do you have to offer? I really thought this was going to be a very short episode. Turns out it was not. So thank you all so much for sticking with me. Please know I'm not being a Scrooge. I'm not trying to tell you or make you feel bad for giving and receiving gifts. I will be giving and receiving gifts, but I just want to build in a little more consciousness. And I hope that that consciousness sticks around, not just now, but beyond. When we do turn into 2021, to that magical year we're about to have, can you still keep the level of awareness going? All right, your homework for today is to have an amazing holiday season. I have some really good episodes coming up for you over the next month, but none of them will be related to the holidays. This is the only one. So this is my opportunity to wish you a happy holiday season. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for your ongoing support of this show, and I can't wait to continue it on in the new year. So have a happy holiday. I'll be back next week to continue on a little bit with this conversation, but in terms of not caring what other people think of you. All right, until then, everybody, have a great week and take care.